Right. Now on to some practical dates and timeframes and action. So first of all, May is a 1 universal month in a 5 universal year. If there's ever a time for luck and opportunity and saying what you mean and meaning what you say and putting yourself out there, May is the month. It definitely is. And it's so interesting because it's contrasted with this Taurinian energy, which is grounding things in, which is a little bit slow to start, which is quite a bit risk adverse. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's remembering that whatever you're putting out there, asking yourself, is this sustainable? Is this something of value to me? Ask those questions. What matters to me? What do I want to prioritize this month? What do I feel that I can accomplish or that I want to initiate this month? And that will come to you quite naturally. So remember, in the first couple of weeks, if you feel that you cannot get clear on what you want to materialize, what you want to bring in, don't worry about it. Ask for guidance. That's the biggest thing here, is asking for divine guidance. When you don't know the answers to things, you don't have to know. Maybe you're not supposed to know yet. So saying, hey, higher self, show me the next course of action. Show me the next right step in this process. Show me the best way to move forward in fill in the blank. And so asking for guidance, and start doing that. If you start doing that at the beginning of this month, you will start gaining clarity and traction faster than you can imagine. We also have Venus and Mercury moving into Gemini. So Mercury moves in on the 3rd and Venus moves in on the 8th, I believe. So we've got the sun in Taurus. Everything is grounding in and settling in for peace and beauty and the natural order of things. And then we have Mercury, the planet of intelligence, information gathering and sharing, which actually rules Gemini, jumping into Gemini, and it's going to be thinking and processing information, the investigative journalist, and it's going to be curious and looking for different perspectives and looking for new ways to do things and just gathering up as much material as it can and socializing too. Like, it's a real social number. So there's extroversion to it. There's communication to it. It's a great time for writing. It's a great time for communicating. If you're making videos and putting things out there, it's a good time for that as well. And then Venus, the planet of love and beauty, which rules Taurus, moving into Gemini, this more frenetic energy. Taurus is so stable, and Gemini is here, there, everywhere, all over the place. So with Venus also moving into Gemini, we have this focus on the intellect around what we value and love, and even, kind of loving things that create an intellectual or have a mental capacity to them. So a love for learning. It's a great time to learn something. And also looking at values around love and around intelligence and the mind. So it's a good time to focus on mental health. No doubt about it. Really, how do you prioritize your mental health? And because we're in Taurus, and there's that slowdown, that grounding, and Gemini can tend to be so airy and all over the place, things like meditation or yoga, anything that gets you grounded in your body. And with the movement, I would say yoga or taking a walk or a hike outside, cooking, anything that's cathartic and gets you present, doing the laundry or the dishes even, anything like that will help quiet the mind. And if you find that at nighttime, you're making lists in your head and running through 25 things and not able to steady the mind. People natives who have Gemini in their Mercury in Gemini oftentimes make lists in their head before bed. And I heard Wayne Dyer say years ago, whatever you go to bed on, if you're making lists or if you're stressed out or you're replaying the day or you're strategizing, that's what your brain marinates on. So think about that. So if you're making lists, go ahead, make your list and then say, okay, I'm done with the list. I've used my my intelligence in the most effective way. Now I need to rejuvenate this physical body. And so maybe an evening meditation or a night guided meditation or putting some meditation music on just to wind down and go to bed, or creating some practices around sleep time, nighttime rituals to help bring you down a notch. And so I know I always drink water with either lemon or apple cider vinegar every evening, and we sit down out on our porch and we really kind of tone it down a notch. So we have some night rituals that help us slow down, but that doesn't always work. So sometimes I end up listening to meditations or doing, other things, using essential oils. This would be a great time to incorporate some essential oils like lavender or anything that creates a calming, grounding effect for you on the temples, behind the ears, especially the back of the neck. It's a really good place. And also on the throat, because Taurus rules the throat chakra, by the way. So this is all throat area. And this, of course, is third eye, the temples. But think about that. So another thing is we have the Taurus new moon on the 11th. So by the 11th, it's a great time to set some intentions, especially around all things Taurinian, okay? And Taurus really does represent sustainability. It represents our sense of peace and ease, but it ultimately represents our values and our value system. So getting clear on what you value, and because this is a 1 month in numerology, the 1 is all about what do I want, what do I need. So say, what do I want to prioritize? What do I value? What are my values? What can I prioritize this month? And setting intentions also potentially around financial planning. Taurus rules money. And so this is a good time to have a look at finances. I know people have been paying taxes in the US and it was pushed back a little bit. So getting your taxes in order, any kind of financial planning and financial organization, this is an ideal moon, whether you do it or just set intentions around taking action, taking practical action around finances this month will create a greater sense of health, wellness, well-being, and sustainability. So that's really important. And also, there's a beautiful quality to Taurus because it's ruled by Venus with beauty and sensuality. And so finding when you feel sexy, when you feel beautiful, maybe like go get your hair cut or go get your nails done or, go do something that you feel creates beauty or beautify something else, do some gardening, get out in the yard, plant some new plants, get rid of the throw pillows on your sofa and go get new ones or get some new artwork, dust something off and put something new of beauty in your home, in your environment, or like I said, beautify yourself. And think about that, because when we feel beautiful, when our environments feel beautiful or are beautiful, and it doesn't matter what budget you're on and what your taste is, but listening to that and listening to your taste, take some action around that. Because when things feel comfortable to me, when I appreciate my space and it feels organized and it feels like it really supports me, I feel safe, I feel comfortable, I feel the quality of my work is better oftentimes. So just think about that. And last but not least, we have Jupiter moving out of Aquarius into Pisces. This is major, and it'll be in Pisces. Jupiter will be in Pisces until July 28th of this year, and then it retrogrades. It's in a retrograde phase starting in June, where it'll still be in Pisces, and so then it'll move back into Aquarius until December. But for this little bit, we're getting a preview, basically, of 2022. I was trying to say 2021, but time is just changing and expanding and going by so fast. So with Jupiter, the planet of luck, expansion, opportunity, overindulging, overdoing it, but most importantly, how we underestimate ourselves. That's what Jupiter is about. So when Jupiter moves into Pisces, the deepest of the water signs, there's lots of room for imagination, fantasy, creativity, but there's also opportunity for expanded spirituality and expanding the depth of your spiritual practice. and your spirit, the interconnection psychically with your higher self. It can be a very, very psychic energy. It can also be a little bit of a delusional energy because Jupiter really blows things up. So think about Jupiter going into the ocean and it's like a big tidal wave. So it can be a very emotional time as well, with emotions waxing and waning. But what's most beautiful about this energy is it really shifts us from ego to the heart, because Pisces is all about compassion. It's all about a higher love, ultimately. And so when we have Jupiter expanding our ability to connect in a compassionate way, or to let down our guards around judgment or potentially forgiveness, taking action around forgiveness. And of course, this will play out in the next couple of months, so just be mindful. I mean, Jupiter is just entering on the 13th, so we'll talk a little bit more about this and about these energies. I'd love to hear later in the month what you start to experience around this. It's also Pisces is a champion for the underdog, so you can find yourself more generous. And so that being said, making sure that you, with the Taurus new moon energies that you're setting, that you do set healthy boundaries around your finances, and that it is wonderful to be generous, but making sure that you're not overdoing it so you end up having to clean some of that mess up afterwards. So being generous, but doing it in a way that is thoughtful and grounded. Okay, everyone, to summarize, the first couple of weeks of May of 2021 are going to feel a little bit push and pull. They're going to feel a bit disjointed. It's okay. Go with it. Pay attention. Pay attention to your thoughts and where they're taking you and what your body is saying. Is your body tired and wanting to rest, and your mind is moving 25 miles an hour? That's an indicator that they are out of alignment. And for this month, I think this will really help. I suggest going back to Kyanite, which is a stone that I recommended, I believe, back in February. Kyanite is the second stone I ever worked with. It is a lovely stone that doesn't even need recharging because it's so brilliant, but it also correlates with the throat chakra, which is what Taurus rules, but it aligns all aspects of the body. It aligns the higher self with the higher mind, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, sacral, solar plexus, root chakra. It really grounds us into clear and present attention and intention. So this is a lovely stone to work with. And I would get it. There'll be a link in the bio. I would get it and I would put it on your left wrist, as I have mine here for the first couple of weeks of the month until after the Taurus new moon. So maybe after Jupiter moves into Pisces on the 13th, maybe the 14th, shift it over to the right wrist so you feel like you have better clarity in your actions. So just remember, the first part of the month is more gaining clarity, gaining some traction, really grounding in and getting clear on what you want versus what you don't want. And the second half of the month will be more about action, more about moving forward in a new direction with a greater sense of self, a greater sense of your self-worth. That's what's most important here. And also taking action that feels aligned with who you are today. Okay, I hope everybody has a great first half of the month, and reach out with any questions. We would love to support you as you move into May.